Okay.
I thought the name was very creative.
Scale.
Scale.
Okay. All right, great. So next up, we've got Roopak from Platform9, and he's the co-founder and VP of Engineering. And he's going to speak to us about OpenStack as a single pane across data centers. So Roopak, I'll turn over to you, and thanks again for hosting us.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks, Dave. So now that we have spoken about platform as a service, let's go down into the infrastructure layer. But with the same topic, how can we run OpenStack in a multi-data centers? So my name is Roopak Parikh. I'm one of the co-founders and head of the engineering at Platform9. Prior to this, I was at VMware, working on various things, mostly on the vCloud, the vCloud director product, and different virtualization technologies. So before I go to the OpenStack, let me quickly talk about what Platform9 does. So Platform9 provides OpenStack as a service. So we have our own cloud where we host OpenStack for our customers. We give them an agent that they install onto their hypervisors on their OSs in their data center. And those agents connect back to the Platform9 OpenStack. And once it connects, you can go to your Platform9 manage OpenStack and create virtual machine, manage it, just like any other OpenStack. So that's in essence what we do. We also add services on top of OpenStack to make it more enterprise friendly. We take care of the monitoring, log monitoring, performance monitoring. We own the SLA, and then we upgrade. How do we do it? Well, what we have done is we have taken OpenStack, we have wrapped up with our own services. So in the middle there, you can see the PF9 OpenStack services, and Resource Manager is one of our services that we have written. And then we give an agent, which is some part is our services, and some part it's Nova Compute and Glance components and Cinder components that gets installed on the hypervisors. They connect back to your own instance of OpenStack. So we have an instance for OpenStack for every customer that come to us. And they connect back regularly. The commands are pulled back from the hypervisors. And you can control that from the REST API or our Clarity UI, which is on top of OpenStack.
Which part is on-prem versus off-prem?
So the lowest part is on-prem, and the part about the blue line, the SSL layer, is our cloud.
So the agent, does it have to run on the host OS, or can it also run on the guest OS?
So the agent runs on the host OS because we need to create virtual machines. Now there is a different, so there are different deployment models when we talk about KVM versus VMware. For KVM, it's on each OS, host OS. With VMware, we have an appliance that you download that talks to the virtual center server or the vSphere. So slightly different, but overall it works the same way. Okay. So I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with OpenStack, so I just wanted to quickly talk about what are the different components that OpenStack has, the major ones at least. And then in the next slides, I will talk about how you can take that and deploy multiple data centers. So OpenStack has an identity called Keystone on the left. The Nova, which is essentially your compute, and it has various other components. Glance is your image catalog or image service. Neutron handles your networking, and Cinder handles your storage. On top of that, you have the Horizon UI, the CLI, or the APIs, and heat orchestration engine. On the bottom layer, it can control VMware hypervisors, it can control KVM, or it can also control now Docker containers. So, how do you do multi-data center with OpenStack? Well, before we go into that, I want to talk about three concepts. These are really important. And people who are familiar with AWS EC2, they will recognize what these are, but we talk about them anyways. So you have a region, which is typically a geographical location, US West, US East. Then you have availability zones. So these are maybe your data centers or part of your data centers. These availability zones in a region are interconnected using low latency networks. And then within those availability zones, you can carve up servers into host aggregates, which are nothing but a collection of hosts with specific attributes, like one version of Intel processor versus another version of Intel processor. So there are various ways in which you can deploy OpenStack for multiple data centers. I'm going to talk about two models. This is model number one. What you do is you have all the services installed on two different data centers, let's say San Francisco and Fremont. And you can say these are two availability zones that you have. Your controller piece, which means all the API endpoints, the glance API, your image API, the Nova API, or the identity APIs, all are in one place. And then what you can do is you can also have host aggregates. The yellow stickies are host aggregates. So you can say, this is my Haswell processor servers, this is my Ivy Bridge processor server. And then when you log on to the UI, you see them as one giant cloud, but you can say, I want to deploy machines or virtual machines in Fremont or San Francisco availability zones, and OpenStack will take care of that. So that's model one. It's easy to set up. It's not using the regions. It's using availability zones. It's using host aggregates, but you have only one set of endpoints for all your services. You can view all the instances at the same time. Latency between one data center to another data center typically is not an issue. Now, if you go cross-Atlantic, you may experience some, but the architecture is such that it goes through RabbitMQ, message queues. So there is a slight delay in delivering the message, but in most cases it's acceptable. Well, this is also easy to set up, so you can see what you really want. Now, one thing to make sure is you need to make sure the controller services, your API endpoint, you need to make it highly available. So that's one, but if you have a large deployment, you may want to consider this, where you have two installations of OpenStack side by side, US West, US East. You have all the services replicated, but you still want to make sure that you as an IT administrator provide a user the ability to go from one data center to another data center. And the way to do that is simply use LDAP synchronization. So OpenStack is not doing any magic here. You can connect LDAP with your identity keystone, and it will do the user password synchronization. So you can use the same user password to log on to both the data center. So it's a little bit complicated because you need to maintain two different instances of OpenStack, and both of them need to be highly available. It's more scalable, obviously, because each one is supporting a large set of servers. You can use what LDAP synchronization, you can use the same user and password, but it's still missing SSO. What it means is, if I go to if I go to log on to US West, I cannot use the same token to log on to US East. I need to enter my password again. So this is one big issue. The other is, with Keystone provides a way to enumerate all the services, all the endpoints that you have in your cloud. With this model, since there are two different installations, you do not have one place to go and say, hey, where are my glance endpoints? You cannot go to one place and see all of them. You have to go to two places to see each one, or many if you have many data centers. So what do? We need to do this. We need to make sure your identity, your keystone, is singleton. So host that in one place and replicate everything else. Connect that to the LDAP so that if you have Active Directory, so you have the same username and password that you use for your Windows login with Keystone. So you go there. These endpoints that you have on USEs will be registered as a different region with the Keystone. And when you ask Keystone, hey, give me all the endpoints, it will tell you for US West, you have this, and US East, you have these. Now, this is great because this model provides SSO. You can go to one Keystone, you have one token, and then just by saying, I want to connect to this region versus that region, you can use the same token to, for example, in UI, you can just say, I want to go to a different region, and you will be able to see the instances of that region or hypervisors in that region. The Keystone is still a single point of failure. Well, we protect it using high availability techniques. It does have service catalog, as I spoke about. And in this model, you can use, so you have US East, US West as regions, and internal to those regions, you can have already zones. You can also have those aggregates, so you can use all three. So to summarize, on multi-data center, my suggestion is if you do not have a lot of servers to manage, keep it simple. Use model 1. You have one particular installation where you have all the endpoints. All you're doing in another data center is installing Nova Compute, Cinder drivers, and that's it. If you want to have a complex setup, I would suggest keep services in separate data center, but use global authentication. So that means keep still a single keystone that has all the endpoints. So that was about data centers, but I also wanted to touch about silos and kind of silos that you have in your data centers. So it's not just geography, but you also have tenants. You have different organizations. You have IT administrators, you have developers, you have QA department, and they all want some resources. And you also have different virtualization technologies. So if you're a large organization, you have VMware, and in one part of your organization you have KVM, and now obviously containers are coming up. So you want to put them all together. OpenStack, surprisingly, is trying to do that. It has support for KVM, vSphere. It has, or at least there have been some experiments with Nova, Docker, and Magnum for Docker support. It's still not clear who the winner is, but it's still going on. And with Platform9, you get support for existing infrastructure, existing virtualized workloads. So you can have one cloud across geographies, across containers and hypervisors. Same thing for tenants. You can create tenants, you can isolate them with VLANs or VXLANs, and you can also share them, share multiple tenants on the same network. So this is all possible with OpenStack. Now, in future, there are many things that needs to happen to make and break these silos that they have created. One is containers, still not clear who is the winner, whether it's a Nova Docker or it's a Magnum. Keystone, you saw we need one instance of Keystone still to manage across all these multi-data centers. It's not ideal. We need more work. Dave spoke about the federated Keystone. It would be interesting to look at what it has. Then the image service. Our customers, they talk about creating images in one location, transferring to another location. There is no support for that. So there's a lot of work to be done here. But all I can say is with OpenStack, at least I see a way by which you can unify these different silos. You can say, across geographies, I can have OpenStack, across tenants, organizations, across virtualization technologies. So that's it. Any questions?
So the OpenStack cells fit into this?
So yes, they should. I was trying to simplify it, and to be honest, we haven't really worked with it. So if you have really large deployments, yes, you will have OpenStack cells, and essentially we'll have a tree of multiple cells and connecting to each other. Any other questions?
Okay, great. Well, thank you. If you have any questions, I'm sure you'll be around to answer them. And thank you very much. Okay, and with that, we're done. We've still got some food, some drinks, so please stick around. And one thing I'd like to propose, if you're interested in having a brief conversation, like just a very short conversation, we could talk perhaps about more things related to multi-data center, high availability, latency, all those kind of things. I'd be interested in finding out if any of you are interested about extending this conversation to future meetups. So come and talk to me afterwards if you're interested, and we'll take it from there. All right. Thank you very much. And one more time, I'd like to thank Alan Moran from Toros and Roopak from, did I say that right again? Yeah, from Platform9. So thank you very much for hosting us, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.